In this video, I'll be showing you how to read algorithms and follow WCA scrambles for every event. First, we're going to go over basic notation, which consists of 6 moves. R refers to the right side, L refers to the left side, F refers to the front side, B refers to the back side, D refers to the bottom side, and U refers to the top side. If there is a prime symbol after a letter, that side should be moved counterclockwise. If not, move it clockwise. R, R prime. L, L prime. U, U prime. D, D prime. B, B prime. F, F prime. For some sides, especially B, it can be confusing figuring out which direction you have to move it. So what I do is I just try to imagine myself as if that side were facing me. So if B was facing me, that would be B prime. It would be moving in that direction. So if it's back here, I know that it would have to be moving in that direction for B prime. The notation does not correspond to certain sides, so it's the same no matter what orientation you're holding the cube in. If there's a 2 after a letter, move that side 180 degrees. For instance, R2 would mean turning the right side 2 full turns. In some algorithms, you may see slice moves, which refer to the middle layers of the cube. The most common is the M move. If there's an M, slice towards yourself. If there's an M prime, slice away from yourself. If there's an M2, move the middle slice 180 degrees. Occasionally, you may see an E, E prime, S, or S prime. Some algorithms include rotations. Y is the most commonly seen rotation. It's like doing a U move except with the whole cube. Y, Y prime. X is like doing an R with the whole cube. X, X prime. And Z is like doing an F with the whole cube. Z, Z prime. Some 3x3 algorithms may include double layer moves, which are represented by a lowercase letter. This just means you have to turn 2 layers instead of 1. For instance, lowercase r means you will have to turn both the outer and middle layers. 2x2 and 3x3 are scrambled using the basic notation, R, L, U, D, F, and B moves. 4x4 and 5x5 use basic notation as well as double layer moves, which are represented by a W after the letter. For instance, if there's a UW, you would have to turn the top 2 layers. In some 4x4 algs, you may also see lowercase letters. In 4x4, this means you have to do a slice move. For instance, a lowercase r means you have to turn the right inner slice. 6x6 and 7x7 have double layer moves as well as triple layer moves. Triple moves are represented by a 3 before the letter. For instance, a 3RW would mean you have to turn the 3 outer layers. For 3x3 blindfolded, you will also see double layer moves in the scrambles. This is used to change the orientation of the cube. 4x4 blindfolded scrambles are the same as regular 4x4 scrambles, except there are rotation moves at the end. 5x5 blindfolded scrambles are the same as regular 5x5 scrambles, except they will include some 3-layer moves at the end. The orientation for scrambling n-by-n puzzles, which are all the events I just talked about, is white on top and green on the front. If these colors aren't present, it should be scrambled with the lightest color on top and the darkest adjacent color on the front. Pyraminx is scrambled using the R, L, U, and B moves from the basic notation. Tips are moved the same but are represented with lowercase letters. For instance, a small r would mean turn the right tip. Occasionally in algs, you may see a W after a letter. This just means to turn an entire face. For instance, an RW would mean turning the entire right face. For Pyraminx, the scrambling orientation is green on the front and yellow on the bottom. If those colors aren't present, it should be scrambled with the lightest color on the bottom and the darkest color on the front. Unlike the end-by-end events, Skewb is held kind of sideways with a corner facing you. Similarly to Pyraminx, it uses R, L, U, and B moves. It's scrambled with white up, green on the left side, and red on the right side. In square 1, each piece has a value. Smaller pieces are worth 1 and bigger pieces are worth 2. So that would be a 1 and that would be a 2. The first number in the bracket determines how much the top side will move. For instance, if the number is 3, you should move the top side clockwise a total value of 3. 1, 3. If there is a negative sign before the number, it should be moved counterclockwise. The second number in the bracket is how much the bottom side should be moved. Again, if there is a negative sign before the number, it should be moved counterclockwise. For instance, if the number is a -4, you should move the bottom counterclockwise a total value of 4. -1, -3, -4. If any of the numbers are 0, that side will not be moved. A slash corresponds to a 180-degree slice move. Square 1 is scrambled with the darker of the two possible colors on the front. Megaminx algs consist of regular notation like R, L, U, F, and D moves. The scrambling, however, is quite different. The scrambles consist of 4 main moves. If you see an R++, hold the left side and move the rest of the cube 2 moves clockwise. If you see an R-, hold the left side of the cube and move the rest of the cube 2 moves counterclockwise. If you see a D++, hold the top side and move the rest of the cube 2 moves clockwise. If you see a D-, hold the top side and move the rest of the cube 2 moves counterclockwise. At the end of each line of the scramble, there will be either a regular U or U' move. Like the end-by-end events, Megaminx is scrambled with white on the top and green on the front. There aren't any algorithms for clocks, so all you need to know is the scrambling notation. The moves with 2 letters refer to a particular pin. UR is the top right pin, DR is the bottom right pin, DL is the bottom left pin, and UL is the top left pin. The moves with a single letter refer to 2 pins. U is the 2 pins on the top, R is the 2 pins on the right, D is the 2 pins on the bottom, and L is the 2 pins on the left. All refers to every pin. After the letters, there will be a number. This refers to the number of clicks you will be moving the corresponding dial. If the number is 0, the dial should not be moved. After the number, there will either be a plus or a minus. If there is a plus, turn the dial clockwise. If there is a minus, turn the dial counterclockwise. For an example, this scramble starts with a UR5-, so you should put up the top right pin and turn the dial 5 clicks counterclockwise. After each move, put any pins that are up back down. For a move like L3+, you should put the 2 pins on the left side up and turn either one of the dials clockwise 3 clicks. For a move like all 5+, put all the pins up and move any of the dials 5 clicks clockwise. Halfway through the scramble, there will be a Y2, which means to flip the clock to the other side. At the end of the scramble, there will be some letters without numbers. This means to put up those pins, but don't move any dials. For instance, this scramble ends with UR, DR, UL, so put up the top right, bottom right, and top left pins. If these letters aren't present at the end of the scramble, leave all the pins down. Clock can be scrambled with either side facing you, as long as the 12s are pointing up. For getting scrambles, I like to use CSTimer. It has a feature called Draw Scramble, which will put up a picture of the correct scramble, so you can check to see if you scrambled correctly. To turn the feature on, click Tools, and then select the Draw Scramble option. That's all for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!